Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and we are going to continue with class 9 history chapter number 3 and the name of the lesson was Nazism and the rise of Hitler. And this is the 8th video in this series. Earlier we have already done 7 videos, and if you have not gone through these videos you can go and check them out in the playlist which is given there, and you can try to remember what happened in the earlier part of the lesson. So today we are going to concentrate on this topic. The name of the topic is Youth in Nazi Germany, and it is unit number 4. And the meaning of youth in Nazi Germany is that in Germany, how did the Nazis try to influence their ideology on the youth, on the children, and how they were raised and they were told to love the Nazism and to become inspiring members of followers of Nazism. So Hitler was fanatically interested. He was interested to a great extent in the youth of the country. Why? Because he felt that a strong Nazi society could be established only by teaching children this Nazi ideology. So it must be taught from their childhood so that they can have a good understanding and they will follow it quite blindly. This required a control over the child both inside also and outside the school also. So not only they were to be taught inside the school these ideas of Nazism, but even outside the school also, in their personal life also, the Nazism ideology should be reflected and they should learn the ideals properly. Here you can see the picture is also given how the classroom they are depicting a lesson on anti-Semitism, and there they are showing that the Jewish nose is bent as its point, like it looks like number 6. So they are trying to stereotype and they are trying to present the Jews in a negative light. So what happened in the schools after this under Nazism? When the Nazis came into power, what changes did they bring in the schools? So what happened in school under Nazism? All the schools were cleansed and purified. All the schools were cleaned, and how they were purified, how they were cleansed. This meant that the teachers who were Jews or seen as politically unreliable, those who did not support the Nazi party, were dismissed from the job. Children were first segregated. They were first separated, like Jews and Germans earlier were sitting together, all children, but now after the Nazism came into power, these Nazis separated the Germans and Jews, and they could not sit together or play together anymore. Subsequently, undesirable children, the Jews and the physically handicapped under Nazism, and gypsies also were thrown out of the schools. You can see the picture here how they are being thrown away from the school, and they are all living in the second picture. You can see here all the pupils and the teachers are also going away from there, and these was the bad treatment, or this was the atrocity that was meted out on even the children also. Even the children were also not spared. They were also segregated. And finally in the 1940s they were even taken to the gas chambers. So the Jews and the physically handicapped, even Germans also and gypsies also, not only were they thrown out of the schools, and the children also, they all were even sent to the gas chambers. Even the children were killed in the gas chamber. So this was the kind of treatment that was given to the pupils as well as the teachers and the other staff in the schools under Nazism. So in the next paragraph we come to know the good German children. Here it is given in the single inverted comma, good German children, like according to them only the German will be good. The good German children were subjected to a process of Nazi schooling. It is a prolonged, very long time period of ideological training, and it should start from the very beginning. So how did they try to change this Nazi schooling? The Nazi ideas, the Nazi teachings, all these things were put in the schools. And how did they start this ideological training? Is that they tried to put this in the minds of these small children. So school textbooks were rewritten. So whatever things were earlier taught in the schools, these all textbooks were removed, and new textbooks which glorified the Nazi ideology, these all were rewritten and they were put in the schools. Racial science, a new kind of science was given, that was called racial science, to understand and to introduce the justify the Nazi idea of race. So they wanted to teach the children that all people are not equal and racism is an important part of the society. So these ideas were inculcated in the minds of the people by the Nazis. stereotypes, some kind of stereotypical thinking, some narrow thinking about the Jews, negative thinking about the Jews were popularized even through maths classes. As I told you a little while ago, that the teacher was saying about number 6 is like the nose of a Jew as it is bent. So here we come to know that they began to be taught, children were taught to be loyal to the Nazi ideology and the Nazism, and submissive. They must not argue, they should not be very much dominant and hate the Jews always and worship Hitler. They must take that Hitler is our savior, Hitler is our main leader, so we must never disrespect him. This is even if he does something wrong. So this was what taught to the people, and children were like considered to be very, very vulnerable. Why? Because their minds are quite fresh, and whatever you nurture in their minds, this will stay forever. So even the function of the sports also was to nurture or grow a spirit of violence and aggressiveness or aggression among the children. Aggression among the children in the sense that they were ready to fight, they were ready to pick up any kind of argument. And Hitler believed that boxing the matches could make children iron hearted and strong and masculine. So this was what Hitler taught about the children. Now, the youth organizations or the teenagers, those who were in the groups, they were made responsible for educating the German youth in the spirit of the National Socialism. So, the youth organizations, the organizations that are related with the young teenagers or the children, were made responsible that you have to educate the German youth, the German young generation, the spirit of nationalism, national socialism, the ideas of your Nazism. So 10-year-old children had to enter Jungvolk. So Jungvolk is what the meaning is given in the blue box, Nazi youth group for children below 14 years of age. And after completing 4 years, that is at age of 14, all boys, not girls, all the boys had to join the Nazi youth organization, and it was called Hitler Youth, where they learned to worship war and glorify and to praise aggression, that yes, it is right to fight. You are not going to be peace loving, you have to be dominant, you have to be angry, and violence was highly advised by these people, and condemn democracy. No democracy, we want only dictatorship, and hate the Jews and communists and gypsies and all those who are categorized as undesirable. After a period of rigorous and ideological physical training they joined the labor service after few years at the age of, usually at the age of 18, and then after that they had to serve in the armed forces or enter one of the Nazi organizations, like we heard earlier, SS and stormtroopers and Gestapo, etc. All this. The Youth League of the Nazis was found in the year 1922, and 4 years later it was renamed as Hitler Youth. Just now, as I told you, what they used to do there, and to unify or to bring the youth movement under Nazi control, all other youth organizations were systematically dissolved and they were finally banned. So all other youth organizations were earlier working, but when Nazi started the Hitler Youth, at the time all just stopped. Here you can see some pictures, 2 children are given there, and here this picture shows, next picture shows the desirable children that Hitler wanted to see multiplied and live. And this is another picture of a German blooded infant who was brought from occupied Europe to annexed Poland. So in Poland they will be settling and they will grow up and they will become the citizens. In the next one, we are going to read the Nazi cult of motherhood. So here, what kind of attitude, what kind of ideology did the Nazis have for the mothers of Germany? Now, children in Nazi Germany were repeatedly told that women were radically different from men. So all women are different from men, and men have their different purpose, and also women have their different purpose. Now, this fight for the equal rights for men and women that had become a part of the democratic struggles everywhere was wrong. So why will the women become a part of the democratic struggle, and why will men give a chance to the women? These would destroy the society. Why? Because these women are not like men. while boys were taught to be aggressive and masculine and steel hearted, very strong, girls were told that they only had to become mothers and rear or give birth to take care of pure blooded Aryan children. So, this was only the objective of the women according to the Nazis. And also the girls had to be always under the man, and girls had to maintain the purity of the race and distance themselves from the Jews and look after their homes. So here we come to know that the girls were dominated or subdued by the males according to the Nazis. And here it is said that they have to maintain the purity of the race. That means they cannot marry anyone other than their race, even if they love or like someone else. Distance themselves from the Jews, look after their home, and teach their children the Nazi values and whatever things they got from Nazism. And they had to be the bearers or the carriers of the Aryan culture and race. They will only spread, they will only carry forward the Aryan culture and the race here. In the year 1933, Hitler said, "In my state, the mother is the most important citizen." So in 1933, Hitler gave this statement that in his state, in Nazi state, the mother is the most important citizen. But was it really so? But in Nazi Germany, all mothers were not treated equally. Why? Because women who bore racially undesirable children, those were children that were born of two races, suppose mother is Jew and the father is German, or the father is German and the mother is Jew, or something like that. So undesirable children were punished. The mothers of the undesirable children were punished, and those who produced racially desirable children only were awarded or given different kinds of rewards and different kinds of recognition. So undesirable in the sense that like their purity of the race must be retained. If they marry within the different races, then the purity of the race is not there, as they belong to two different races. And desirable, racially desirable in the sense that they belong to only the Nordic Aryan race. Now this women, those who gave birth to the desirable children, racially desirable children, were given favored treatment in the hospitals. Whenever they went, they got more advantage and benefit, and were also entitled to concession, different discounts in the shop if they buy something, and on theater tickets and on railway fares and tickets, etc. And to encourage women to produce many children, racially desirable children, honor crosses were given to them, awarded to them. A bronze cross was given if the mother has given birth to 4 children. If a mother has given birth to 6 children, it will be silver honor cross, and if 8 or more children are given birth by a mother that are racially desirable, she will get a gold honor cross. So these are the different ways how Hitler tried to inculcate Nazism and try to put the case of the status of the mother in his state. Now, all Aryan women who deviated from the prescribed code of conduct were publicly condemned. They were like severely punished also, and they were criticized in the public that what they had done, they had deviated, they had gone astray from the direction of the prescribed code, the code that they have to follow, the code of conduct that they should not mingle with the other races. So those who maintained contact with the Jews and the Poles, the people from Poland and the Russians, were all paraded. They were taken through the town, paraded like in a parade, like a procession, with shaved heads. Their heads were shaved off, there was no hair, and the blackened faces, the faces were smeared with black color, and it was like a very bad, insulting method of punishing them. And they also had placards. They had different cards on their like large cardboards hanging around their necks, and it was announcing that I have sullied the honor of the nation. That means I have made the honor of the nation dirty, I have made the country's honor dirty. So many received jail sentences and lost civic honor, as well as their husbands also and families, for this criminal offense, and many had to go to the jail also, and their husbands also were punished for that. In the next 4.2 we read the art of propaganda. Now what was the art of the propaganda? How these ideas spread everywhere. The Nazi regime used language and media with very much care and attention, and often to great effect also, because language and media could change the minds of the people. The terms they coined to describe their various practices are not only deceptive, it means they are not only for the people as like they are hiding them, they are not only trying to fool them or deceive, be deceptive, but they are chilling also, they are like quite like fearful in while we try to understand these meanings, because Nazis never used the words kill or murder in their official communication. They never used that kill these five people or kill the Jews or murder these people. Why? Because mass killings were often termed as special treatment. Like a special treatment means the code word, it was like mass killing, so many people will be killed. Or final solution, final solution means death for the Jews. And euthanasia was for the disabled. By the injection, you will be given an injection, and it was a poisonous injection, and the person or the handicapped person, crippled person will die. And selection and disinfection words were used for the people to be taken away from there. And evacuation means deporting the people to the gas chambers. You have to take them to the gas chambers, and this is called evacuation. Do you know that the gas chambers, what they were called? Actually, they were labeled as disinfection areas. Like when we go to the bath and we take a bath, we become disinfected from the germs. So here also these gas chambers were known as disinfection areas. So if you receive a letter that send these people to the disinfection area, you will never suspect that they are being told to taken to the gas chamber. And they also look like bathrooms. If you go inside, they will be equipped with the fake shower heads. Only the difference is that from the shower heads water will not come, but gas will be coming from there. Okay, so media was carefully used to win support for the regime and popularize the worldview of this Nazism. So media, how they used the media, and at the time the films were there in the theaters and the newspapers and the radio, etc., like that. So the Nazi ideas were spread through visual images and films and radio, posters, catchy slogans were, and leaflets and pamphlets. All these were published, and all these were used for spreading the ideas of Nazism. In posters, groups identified as the enemies of the Germans were stereotyped and mocked, and they were abused and described as evil there. And the people, those who were living there, the posters, the groups as the enemies of the German were stereotyped. They were showed that these are the people who are our enemies, and they were mocked, made fun of, abused also sometimes. Very bad words were used to describe them as evil. And socialists and liberals were represented as weak and degenerate. They are of inferior status, and they are degenerated of the very low caste or low level, and they were attacked as the malicious foreign agents. They were like combined with the or have connection with the foreign agents who are trying to harm the country. The people, those who were foreign agents, they had good connection with the liberals and the socialists. Propaganda films were also made to create hatred for the Jews. One of the most infamous film. Why it is infamous? Because it is in the negative sense. That is why it is called the Eternal Jew was also shown. It showed that the Jews are always bad. Orthodox stereotypes were marked, and they were stereotyped, and they were shown that they were always with flowing beards. They used to have long beards, wearing kaftans, and whereas in reality it was very difficult to distinguish the German Jews by their outward appearance, because they were a highly assimilated community. So here if you see the culture or the dress of a Jew was like long beard they used to keep, and wearing a long black dress, that is a kaftan. But that is only the representation how a real Jew would be. But in reality, if you see in the society, a German Jew would never be looking like this, because his outward appearance was not exactly like that, because they had highly assimilated or mixed up community with the Germans, and it was very difficult to find out, because as all of them were wearing shirt and pants and coats, etc., like that. They were referred to as vermin, as like some kind of bacteria and rats and pests, and that parasites which eats up the other things, etc. And their movements were compared to those of rodents, rats. And this Nazism worked on the minds of the people and tapped their emotions and turned their hatred and anger at those marked as undesirable here. And here we come to know their anger and hatred all were turned towards the undesirable. The Nazis made equal efforts to appeal to the different sections of the population, and they sought to win the support by suggesting that Nazis alone could solve their problem. They made this conception in the minds of the common people that we, the Nazis, only can solve your problem from the Jews, because Jews are are the villains here, and you have to give us your support, and we Nazis alone can solve the problems of the Jews here. And that is why they made equal efforts to reach, to appeal to the different parts of the sections of the society. Here one picture of the Nazi poster attacking Jews is given. According to this, the Jews are always after money. Money is the god of the Jews, and he's sitting on a big bag of money and his nose is pointed. So this is a picture, Nazi picture, that is discriminating the Jews. Here another one picture is given, that the German farmer, you belong to Hitler. Why? Because there is a danger. One is capitalism, other one is your Marxist economic system of Bolshevism. So here Hitler will be only your savior. He will only be able to save you. Here some more dates are there. That one you should read on that page. And the next one we'll read about the ordinary people and the crime against humanity. That will be done in our last video. The last video will be the 9th video. Till that time, thank you. Bye.